Hi there, I'm Champion Trader Kevin Davey, and today let's look at an algo entry that works in today's markets. All right, let's get started. So in this video, I'm going to give you an entry that works in some different markets. I'm going to show you exactly where it works, and I'm not going to be boring you to death with any kind of sales pitches. All right? Please visit my YouTube channel. That's my commercial, not a sales pitch. And before I get into the entries, the entry that I want to talk about today, I just want to tell you how most people develop algo strategies and what's wrong with it. So what most people do is they take all their inputs, all their exits, all their rules and everything, filters, whatever, and throw it in this blender with all the historical data that they have and optimize the heck out of it. Just optimize. More the better. And then they get some best parameters that come out of it. You know, maybe it's based on net profit, maybe it's a risk adjusted return, but they get all this list of parameters to use and then they start trading with it. The problem is that usually falls apart in real time. Optimized results almost never work in real time. You've got to realize that. So don't do this. Don't have 150 million iterations in your backtest. Doesn't work. Don't select the best optimization result. It doesn't work. And if you don't do those things, well, hey, you're already on your road to making successful algos. I use a trademark process that I developed. It's called the Strategy Factory, and it takes you from goals all the way to real money operation. It has optimization in it, but it's really smart optimization. So it's not like the, hey, just throw in everything and see what works. Okay, so I'm going to give you what most people don't. Most people will just show you a chart and say, oh, hey, look at this entry. It worked, these 2 times, these 3 times. So obviously it works. I'm going to give you something that works over a number of years and in specific markets with specific bar sizes, okay? And it also has a lot of robustness to it. So I tested over the last 3 years, did a whole bunch of entries, and I made it with no exits because I just wanted to test the entries themselves. I did it on a wide range of futures markets, whole bunch of bar sizes, and at least 500,000 back tests to do all this. And the only way I could do that without spending the rest of my life doing it was with multi-walk software. It was actually software created by a student of mine, and it only is available to people who take my class, but it reduces your test time by, I estimated at one point, 93% based on some tests I ran. It's huge. It's a huge time saver. And if you're serious about algo trading, that's something to consider. Okay, so the entry I'm going to show you, I'd use it as a starting point in your strategy building. It isn't a fully developed strategy. And in fact, the way I developed it was by taking one step of my process, the limited testing I do, and modifying it slightly to get you these results. But you can see there's a whole bunch of other things you should be doing when you develop a strategy. So this is just a pattern, and it's kind of a unique pattern because it uses an input variable, which I'm calling input var1. So I'm taking the high of input var1 plus 2 bars, and if that's below the current low, and the current low is also less than the high of input var 3 bars ago, So you can see the current low is sandwiched between these two values, and the high is less than the high of input variable 1 plus 1 bar ago, then you buy and you do the opposite, sell short. And it might be a little confusing because of the variable I'm introducing here. Kind of hard to see, but I actually created a show me to highlight yellow when it's a signal bar to buy, and purple for a signal bar to go short with that. And you'll see the code right here. Maybe the code will make a little bit more sense to you, but you see it's just the high a certain number of bars back is less than the low of the current bar, and the low of the current bar is less than the high a certain number of bars ago. And then finally, the high a certain number of bars ago is less than the high of that number plus 1. So again, it looks more complicated than it actually is. And again, the buy and sell short, they're just symmetric entries. So you can actually optimize with input var1, and input var3. And that's what I did. And again, here's a blow up of a trade. Hard to tell what's going on other than, hey, the show me said, there's my signal, and then it placed the trade at the open in the next bar. So I used 10 values of length 1 and length number 2, which was input var1, and input var3. 100 possible combinations. So I did all the combinations of them. And if 5 of those 100 turn out to be profitable, this is probably not a good entry. But let's say 80 or 90 were good, then hey, that's good. That's kind of a robustness test that I run just to see. I want to see if things work over a big range of different values. And that's just a sign that this could be a good entry. So here are the results. You can see the different markets it worked in. I don't show the markets it doesn't work, but it worked in 24 of the 44 I tested, at least with one different bar size. And you can see wherever there's a 1 here, that meant it was acceptable. So Japanese yen, it worked with the 1440, the 240, the 360, and the 720. Worked for all those. Kansas City hard red winter wheat, it worked only with the 720. But that gives you a sense of different markets that it works with. And hey, when something works, especially if it works in multiple markets, to me that's usually a good sign. Now, you might have noticed the entry, pretty simple. It sounded complicated, but it's just 3 different price comparisons. That's pretty simple. There's no filters, no RSI, ADX, all this other stuff. It's very tight and very compact. It's symmetric, long and short, which is something I like. And not a lot of people probably are doing that particular type of entry. And so I think that's a good thing to do.
Order filled.
That being said, more testing is required. That's part of my process. I do all these tests typically. So you can't just do one test and say, hey, this is a good strategy. You have to do quite a few. And remember, entries are important, but it's more about the process. It's more about what steps you take and that you apply these tests consistently to all the strategies. That's going to give you consistent output, meaning strategies that all pass the same tests. It gives you confidence that what you're doing is right. And again, there's my process. I share it with students in my strategy factory class. You could create your own. Some people have. It's just a little bit of work to, more than a little bit of work, but it's work to figure out how to do all these things on your own. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Champion Trader Kevin Davey. Have a great day.